And anyway, I've got to use this camera because I feel that a blamer will probably have this video removed. So I'll be bringing my attention more to this one here. Okay. You don't know Arabic, so, and you don't know Greek and Hebrew, I'm betting. But I know Arabic. The word alak has several meanings. So, how come those writing all those hadiths translated as then it becomes a blood clot? Yeah. How come they wrote it as then it becomes a blood clot? How come Allah couldn't have said be and had them be quote then it becomes like a blood clot, and it's not even for 40 seconds that it's looking like a blood clot? How come Allah couldn't have done it that way by saying be? In Arabic, one word can have several meanings, yet Allah in its Quran chose blood clot and had it as the clot. What was the best deceiver's thinking? Or was that why it chose it? To make people like me who think to make people like me think the Quran really was written by an illiterate who was probably illiterate because he was stupid? Well, it seems he'd have to be doing that, being that well, it seems to me Mo would have to be stupid, being that he was over 40 and couldn't read nor write. True? Yeah, right? Another example: land and earth in Arabic in one word, which is ard, and so on. And then you type the word alak, which is, and then gives the Arabic. In translation, .babylon.com Arabic to English. So, again, how come Allah, in all of its Qurans, in English, chose blood clot and had it as the clot? What was the best of deceivers thinking? Or was that why it chose it? To make people like me to think the Quran really was written by an illiterate idiot who was probably illiterate because he was stupid? Well, it seems Muhammad would have to be stupid, being that he was over 40 and couldn't read, right? True? Here's what that comes out. Allah can mean hang up, dangle, hinge, suspend, sling, string up, swing, pin out, shelf, stop, rest, annotate, commentate, glass, comment. When did it mean all of that? Was it before or after we discovered that embryos are never blood clots, not even for 40 seconds? When did it mean all that? This is from another site, Al-Quran 96 to 1 through 2. Proclaim or read. What? Was the angel, spirit, or Jibril, whatever, carrying a book with it for Mo to read? And if it did, didn't it know that Mo was a dunce who couldn't read? Why would it say read when it should have known Mo was a 40-year-old imbecile who couldn't read? Does that make sense? Oh, slave of the best of deceivers, think. Proclaim in the name of thy Lord and Cherisher, who created man out of a mere clot of congealed blood. And that translation is wrong, right? The word alak, besides meaning a congealed blood, a clot of blood, also means something that clings, a leech-like substance. Now it does. But was such a meaning before or after we discovered embryos are never blood clots? Not even for 40 seconds. Yeah, when did it become that? Dr. Keith Moore had no knowledge whether an embryo in the initial stages appears like a leech. Never had a miscarriage described to him, right? To check this out, he studied the initial stages of the embryo under a very powerful microscope in his laboratory and compared what he observed with a diagram of a leech, and he was astonished at the striking resemblance between the two. So, again, did alak, the word alak in Arabic, mean leech before or after we discovered that embryos are never blood clots? Not even for 40 seconds. When? Oh gosh. It's always 3 sneezes. You notice that? And in the same manner, he acquired more information on embryology that was hitherto not known to him, not known to him from the Quran. Again, did Al-Akhmein leech before or after? We discovered that embryos are never blood clots, not even for 40 seconds. Dr. Keith Moore answered about 80 questions dealing with embryological data mentioned in the Quran and Hadith. The Hadith that has it as a blood clot and not a leech? How could it have also been from the Hadith as well? Where are those Hadiths that have it as leech? And then it becomes a clot of blood. Where are those Hadiths that inspired him? Did he know Arabic as well to know? Where are those Hadiths that would have inspired Mr. Moore? Where? Because all the Hadiths I'm familiar with don't say like a blood clot. Yeah, I'll say, and then becomes a blood clot. So where are the Hadiths that he found that say like a blood clot? And he said that he got that from the Hadith. I smell taqiyya here, lying for Allah. Noting that the information contained in the Quran and Hadith, oh, he said it again, Quran and Hadith, was in full agreement with the latest discoveries in the field of embryology, but an embryo isn't even a leech for 40 seconds. After 40 days of being a blood clot, it's supposedly a leech for looking like a leech? Well, you think an embryo is going to look like a blood-sucking worm after 40 days when it was blood first for 40 days before that? And yet the guy says, quote, he was astonished at the striking resemblance between the two. Think, O slave of the best deceivers. Think. Professor Moore said, if I was asked these questions 30 years ago, I would not have been able to answer half of them for lack of scientific information. Because he's an idiot? Or because he wanted a lot of Saudi Muslim money to sound like an idiot? Dr. Keith Moore had earlier authored the book called The Developing Human. After acquiring new knowledge from the Quran, he wrote in 1982, the third edition of the same book, The Developing Human. The book was the recipient of an award for the best medical book written by a single author. By Muslims desperate to believe that after we are blood for 40 days, we look like leeches for another 40 days, when all hadiths say, then it becomes a clot for 40 days? Oh, but those are from hadiths that don't say that. Well, where are those hadiths? Think, O slave of the best of deceivers. Think. I mean, the guy said that he got it from the Quran and hadith. But all the hadiths I'm familiar with say, becomes a blood clot, not looks like a blood clot. This book has been translated into several major languages of the world, mostly Arabic, I bet, and is used as a textbook of embryology in the first year of medical studies. Yeah, in Muslim medical studies, I can bet. If so, you know, it makes me glad I don't have health insurance. In 1981, during the 7th Medical Conference in Daman, Saudi Arabia, where? In 1981, during the 7th Medical Conference in Daman, Saudi Arabia, shockers! Mr. Moore, Dr. Moore said, quote, it has been a great pleasure for me to help clarify the statements in the Quran. Clarify? Clarify? I thought the Quran said it was clear signs. You know, clarify? What? Make the clear signs, the Quran, sound more scientific and clear? The thing is, he said, quote, embryological data mentioned in the Quran and Hadith. Get it? Quote, and the Hadith. Thus he lied. For again, where are those Hadiths before 1981 that have it as, then it becomes like a blood clot for 40 days? So again, the guy isn't lying. Yeah, so again, where is that hadith? So the guy isn't lying.